Dear students, this is the e-learning platform of Cambridge International School, the SUA. I am Kamaljeet Sharma, PGT Accountancy, teaching accountancy to the students for grade 11th and 12th in Cambridge International School. And this session is for the subject of accountancy for grade 11th commerce. Let's recap. Students, as you know, we have started chapter number 8, that is journal, from your book Double Entry Bookkeeping by T.S. Garewal. In this chapter, you will have learned about the formation of journal entries. Today, we will learn about few more journal entries. I hope this session would help you to understand this chapter. Today, we will continue with our chapter number 8, that is journal. Before starting the journal entries, let us revise the rules to form a journal entry. All the traditional rules and modern rules which we have studied in the chapter number 6. These rules are very much important while formation of students. The accounts are classified on two bases, that is traditional approach and modern approach. We have learned about the traditional approach. Traditional approach is also called English approach, whereas modern approach is also called American approach. In traditional approach, there are broadly two types of account, personal account and impersonal account. Personal accounts are further classified into natural personal accounts, artificial personal accounts, and representative personal accounts. Whereas impersonal accounts are further classified into real accounts and nominal accounts. Personal account, as the name appears, related with person. So natural person's account, for example, Ram account, Sham account, Sita, Geeta, Ina, Meena, these all are natural personal accounts. Artificial personal accounts are those which are non-living beings, not living beings, but we have some names for the establishments. For example, ICICI Bank, Cambridge International School, say Gupta Cloth Emporium, say Pizza Hut, Domino's, all these establishments which carry a name but non-living beings. That's why they are called artificial personal accounts. Representative personal accounts are those which represents a group or an item. For example, outstanding expenses like salaries outstanding, prepaid expenses like prepaid insurance, accrued incomes like accrued commission or accrued interest, unearned incomes like advance commission. Whereas impersonal accounts which do not have any relation with any person, these are classified into real account. Real means actually. So all assets lies under the category of real account. Nominal accounts, as the name appears, nominal, which means it is nothing. But for our convenience, we have given them some names. For example, all the expenses, losses, incomes and gains lies under the category of nominal account. So for the purpose of balancing the accounts or preparation of accounts or for journal entries, all these we have used these traditional approach accounts in the form of personal, real or nominal account. Whereas in the modern approach, we'll be using types of accounts in the name of assets account, liability account, capital account, revenue account, or expenses account. We have categorized into these five accounts. Let us revise the traditional approach. The rule for personal account is debit the receiver and credit the giver. The rule for real account is debit what comes in, credit what goes out. And the rule for nominal account is debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. Now we will start the modern approach. We have identified or categorized the total accounts in five categories: assets, liabilities, capital, revenue, and expenses. First of all, we have to identify the accounts involved in the transaction, whether it is asset or a liability or a capital or a revenue or expense. Let us discuss assets. Assets. If there is any increase in the asset of the organization given in that transaction, the increase in asset will be debited, whereas decrease in the assets will be credited. Now comes the liability. If the value of liabilities increases, it will be credited. And if the value of liabilities decreases, it will be debited. Now comes the capital. If the capital of the proprietor increases in the business, if the balance of the capital increases in the business, it must be credited. And if the capital decreases, it must be debited. Now comes the revenue. Now what is revenue? Revenue is the amount received from the sale of goods and services. So if there is any increase in revenue, it should be credited, or if there is decrease in the revenue, it should be debited. Now comes the expenses. Expenses are the amount spent to generate the revenue. So if there is any increase in the expenses of the organization, these expenses are debited. And if there is any decrease in the expenses, it should be credited. Students, now we will learn the formation of journal entries. There are three simple steps to be followed for recording a journal entry. The step one is simply identify the accounts involved in the transaction. Then the second step is judge the nature of accounts involved, whether it is a personal, a real, or a nominal account. The step 3, that is analyze the effect, then apply the rule and form a journal entry. Let us take an example. For example, cash received from Ram rupees 9,000. In this transaction, there are two accounts involved. One is cash, another is Ram. Cash, being an asset, comes under the category of real account. Ram is a natural person, comes under the category of personal account. Now, in the first step, we have identified the accounts involved. That is, cash and Ram are the two accounts involved in the transaction. After that, in the second step, we judge the nature of these accounts involved. The cash is an asset, so it comes under the category of real account, whereas Ram is a natural person, comes under the category of personal account. Now we'll move to step number 3. In the step number 3, we have to analyze the effect. So it is very much clear from the transaction that cash is coming into the business. So cash comes into the business, whereas Ram is the giver. Means Ram gives the money to the business. So after analyzing the effect, we have to apply the rule. So as per traditional approach, the rule for a real account is debit what comes in and credit what goes out. Here cash comes into the business, so cash must be debited. And as per the personal account rule, it is debit the receiver and credit the giver. So here Ram is giver to the business, so Ram must be credited. So we will check the first step and the last step, that is third step. So here cash is debited, Ram is credited. So follow these simple steps to form a journal entry. Now let us start with one more question. So we have to journalize these transactions. The first one is Manish started business with cash rupees 10,000, goods rupees 5,000 and furniture rupees 15,000. Means cash rupees 10,000 comes into the business, stock worth rupees 5,000 comes into the business, and furniture worth rupees 15,000 comes into the business, and all these three are real accounts. So debit all these accounts: cash account debit, stock account debit, furniture account debit to capital account. Cash is a real account, stock is a real account, furniture is a real account, and credit the giver. And Manish, the owner, is the giver, and owner's account is capital account. Now we will move to the second transaction, that is purchased goods for cash. Now it is clearly mentioned in the question that goods were purchased for cash rupees 3,500. So purchases are the nominal account. Purchases, nominal account. Purchases being an expenses, we consider it as a nominal account. So here purchases, nominal account, and cash, real account. Purchases means expenses. Cash goes out of the business. So debit all expenses and credit what goes out. So purchases account debit to cash account is the journal entry for the second transaction. Next one is purchased goods from Sudhir. So it is clearly mentioned here that the goods were purchased from Sudhir. No information that the goods were purchased for cash. There is no information related with the cash. So here we will record purchases like any other expense. Purchases are the expenses. Sudhir is the personal account. Purchases, nominal account. Again, purchases account debit to Sudhir's account. Debit all expenses and credit the giver. The next transaction is sold goods for cash rupees 1,500. Sold goods means sales. Sales, it is a revenue, comes into the business, and we also call it sales are the income. Like purchases we consider as an expense, so sales we consider as incomes. So nominal count. Sales are nominal in nature, whereas cash real in nature. So cash comes into the business and sales are the incomes for the business. So we will record this entry as cash account debit because cash comes into the business and sales are the incomes of the business. The next one is purchased goods from Mr. X for cash rupees 6,000. Now see here, it is clearly mentioned that the goods were purchased for cash. Although the name of Mr. X is also given, but it is of no use. The relation is goods purchased from Mr. X, XX, but cash is paid for it. So purchases debited, cash because of goes out, cash credited. Purchases nominal, cash real, debit all expenses and losses, credit what goes out. So the entry would be purchases account debit to cash account. No need to mention Mr. X name anywhere in the journal entry. Now the next entry is sold goods for cash to Anubhav. So again, there is no importance of the name of Anubhav in this entry. The two-way transaction, the two accounts involved is cash and sales. Cash comes into the business and sales are the incomes. So cash account debit to sales account. The next and transaction is sold goods to Kumar. So here no information that cash is goes out or comes into the business. So it means goods sold to Kumar on credit. So we assume that the goods were sold on credit. So here two accounts involved are Kumar and sales. Kumar debit the receiver as per the rule of personal account and sales as per the rule of nominal account incomes to be credited. So entry would be Kumar's account debit to sales account. Next is paid cash to Sudhir. So two accounts involved are Sudhir and cash. So paid cash to Sudhir. Sudhir is the receiver, so debit the receiver as per the rule of personal account, and cash because goes out of the business, it must be credited. So Sudhir account debit to cash account. Now the entry for transaction 9 is received cash from Kumar. So here again two accounts are involved, cash and Kumar, but in this entry cash comes into the business. So cash being a real account, debit what comes in. So cash account debit to Kumar account. So cash comes into the business and Kumar is giver 2500. So entry would be cash account debit to Kumar's account. The next entry is bought building for cash. It means building is coming into the business, building being a real account, cash is also a real account, cash goes out of business, debit what comes in, credit what goes out. So buildings account debit to cash account rupees 20,000 would be the journal entry for transaction number 10. Now we will formally record the journal entries for this question. So see here the journal entries. First entry is cash account debit, stock account debit, furniture account debit to capital account. I write here stock because it is the goods are already lying with the proprietor, already purchased. If it is clearly given that goods purchased, then we will use the purchases account. The second transaction is purchases account debit to cash account. Next entry is purchases account debit to Sudhir's account rupees 10,000. The next transaction for next entry for the transaction number 4 is cash account debit to sales account. The next is purchases account debit to cash account 6,000 rupees. Then the transaction number 6 is entry for transaction number 6 is cash account debit to sales account. Then next is Kumar's account debit to sales account rupees 2500. Then the entry for next transaction is Sudhir's account debit to cash account 6,000. And the next is cash account debit to Kumar's account 2500. And the entry for transaction number 10 is buildings account debit to cash account 20,000 rupees. In this session, we have learned about few more journal entries using the traditional approach to rules of debit and credit. I hope this will help you to understand the concept of the topic more easily. Now students, try to understand the basic concepts of this chapter once again and try to solve some illustrations as well as unsolved questions from your book Double Entry Bookkeeping by T.S. Grewal. You can also try to solve some questions from NCERT, but all the questions to be done in your homework notebook. In the next session, we will continue our next topic. Till then, dear students, to stop the COVID-19, stay home. If you don't think about yourself, think about your loved ones. So stay home, please. But study regularly.